Really great pleasure now to introduce the keynote speaker at this opening ceremony, Ambassador Romana Vlahutin, who's Ambassador at Large for Connectivity at the European External Action Service. Ambassador Vlahutin has a long and impressive CV, including appointments as a Croatian diplomat, where she served in embassies in Washington and Belgrade, and as a head of strategic analysis and policy planning at the MFA in Zagreb. She also served as a political director of the OSCE mission in Kosovo, and subsequently as foreign policy advisor to the president of Croatia. Most recently, from 2014 to 2018, she served as the EU ambassador to Albania and has been appointed special coordinator and ambassador at large for connectivity in the European External Action Service as of March 2019. So after Ambassador Vlahutin's keynote address, there will be an opportunity for some Q&A. So please, all of you have your questions ready, and please type them into the chat. So without further ado, I hand over to Ambassador Vlahutin. Romana, over to you, please.
Yes, thanks a lot, Barbara. Hello to everybody. Greetings from Brussels. I have learned in the last 20 minutes that connectivity is quite a complicated job because we will be trying to connect with Matteo. Very happy to join. I really first want to thank all colleagues from JRC, our delegation in Singapore, and Barbara for making this possible. And I think it's really unfortunate that we are doing this in a cyberspace. It would be much nicer that we can have live discussions, that we could meet both in plenaries and then around the coffees. However, this is where we are, and let's try to make best out of it. But one thing I'm taking away for the rest of my life from this COVID lockdown is that people-to-people connectivity cannot be replaced by any technology. We are joined, I'm told, by around 250 delegations from delegates from 53 countries. This is great. It gives us a unique opportunity, really, to exchange research, analysis, ideas on connectivity, which, beyond, I think, any doubt, and all of you would agree, is becoming one of the key issues of our times. Why is that? Connectivity has always been extremely important, or underlying logics of societal interconnections. But somehow, in the last decade or 2 decades, we are witnessing fundamental change due to the speed and the potentials that were brought to us by digital technologies. And this is truly a revolution that brings massive opportunities, but also brings many challenges with it. Connectivity, by definition, creates interdependencies, and governance of these interdependencies require respect for mutual responsibilities. If you wish, European Union is the epitome of the interdependence. Connectivity is who we are. Connectivity is our DNA. And I would like to first share a few lessons that we have learned in our many decades of union, and also share with you how we see connectivity with Asia and the rest of the world. What we have learned in the European Union is that the strength of our union is not measured by its strongest, but by its weakest member. And this is why our internal budget has an underlying logic of the need for equal pace of development, and why still today, 1/3 of the European budget, now over 350 billion euros, is spent on boosting economic performance and the competitiveness of the regions, so that all parts of the Union and all of its citizens can share the same standards and quality of life. There are some very interesting figures. In the last 15 years alone, the GDP of those countries that joined the European Union grew on average 84%, their exports 335%, and their imports 209 So you can see how connectivity is major force for economic growth. EU also has the knowledge and experience of some of the most sophisticated instruments and methodologies that we believe can contribute greatly to the overall global connectivity. In October 2018, European Council, which means all European member states, adopted an EU strategy on connectivity, which is focused on connecting Europe and Asia, but its core elements can and are extended to all other geographies. I will try to explain very briefly how we think and plan to implement this strategy. We use the model 4321, which stands for 4 pillars, 3 work strands, 2 fundamental underlying principles, and 1 overreaching philosophy. The 4 pillars, it's pretty straightforward, are transport, energy, digital, and human connectivity. Transport, there is clearly a need for diversified routes to link existing and future transport networks. We need to enable shorter transit times and simplify the regulatory frameworks for the ease of movement across borders. Energy, the second pillar, is crucial not only because it moves everything, but because it has a direct and critical impact on our environment. We need more interconnected regional energy platforms. We need modern energy systems and environmentally friendly solutions. Digital, the third pillar, I would say is crucial because it has implications for every other sector and every dimension of our lives. We need increased access to digital services, while at the same time, we need to be very careful to maintain high levels of protection of consumers, as well as personal and business data. And finally, the center of all of this is human connectivity, based on exchanges and cooperation in every field, be it education, research, innovation, art, culture, tourism. The 3 work strands that we want to use for the implementation of the strategy. First, we want to build or help build physical networks. Second, we want to build partnerships around same goals. And finally, we want to utilize financial capacities and innovative financing so that we can deliver a whole new level of investment in connectivity. The 2 key underlying principles for us are sustainability and level playing field. Connectivity must first and foremost be sustainable from an ecological point of view, also financially and socially sustainable. In short, it is about leaving a more interconnected world and a cleaner environment to future generations, not the mountains or depth or suffocating planet. It is also about creating more interconnections between all countries around the world and not more dependencies or one or few countries. A level playing field is the second fundamental principle so that all businesses have equal chances and opportunities to bid for projects. This ensures transparency, it ensures fair competition and mutual trust. And the final result, of course, should be delivering the best quality to citizens. European experience has taught us that one of the keys to success in connectivity is to follow some common sense rules so that connectivity benefits everyone equally and allows us to provide common responses to common challenges by developing common standards. Finally, the overreaching philosophy is to truly make a substantive contribution to the further development of low and mid-income countries so that they can develop their markets in a sophisticated and competitive manner, increase their resilience, and make their own choices. Our approach is really open to all countries that share our vision of sustainability and level playing field. And this brings me to the second part, working with partners. Connectivity is not a lonely business, and by definition, it requires partnerships. Before the COVID crisis, ASEAN countries together represented around 55% of global trade, 60% of the global population, 65% of global economy, and 75% of global tourism. With the multilateral system under stress, we need to follow a roadmap to move from competition and conflict to cooperation and collaboration. The post-COVID-19 economic stimulus provides a new opportunity and can be used as a turning moment to steer investments to be more sustainable, more digital and green, both in Europe and across the globe. This, of course, is not purely altruistic exercise, because helping transition and developing countries rebuild their economies, societies, and meet their infrastructure needs will help also us to be stronger, to be safer, and to be more secure abroad and at home as well. We have done a lot, but much more needs to be done. And what does this mean in reality? I think it's always, they say the proof of the pudding is in eating it. So we are moving now quite fast into finding the best ways of implementing the strategy. Financially, the needs for connectivity projects are such that there's no power in the world can do it alone. The estimated needs in Asia until 2030 amount to 26 trillion euros. So even if we would put all the public money of the world together, there would not be enough to pay for this. We need to build public-private partnerships through innovative financial engineering, respecting and promoting best norms and rules at the same time. And second, we really want to work with like-minded partners on connecting the connectivities. Europe strengthens its cooperation with other regions of the world, and in particular with partners who share the same commitments to democracy, respect for the rule of law, freedom, and human dignity. Our first connectivity partnership was signed with Japan in September 2019, and this is providing a great framework for our cooperation with Japan in regions from Asia to Africa. Looking to the Southeast Asia region, ASEAN has an ASEAN Master Plan on Connectivity 2025. Both European Union and ASEAN share a strong track record on all 4 dimensions of connectivity. We want to work more with our friends and partners in finding common solutions. So I'm really grateful for your research and the analysis that you have put in for this conference. And I hope it will help us plan better, think sharper in mapping the needs and identifying best solutions. Challenges are many. I'm grateful for your valuable contribution, and I'm really looking forward to the discussion on connectivity, which I believe is one of the key topics of our time. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Romana, for this inspiring speech. We are now coming to a Q&A session. We still have some time. I'm not sure if anyone has typed in a question already. At the moment, I don't see it. So I would start with the first question. While I'm asking this question and Romana is answering it, maybe you can have some other questions. If you have any, please type them into the chat. So Romana, I'd like to ask, where do you see the greatest opportunity in making use of the large potential of the Asia-EU partnership to really foster sustainable connectivity? You said before, that ASEAN countries together represent 65% of the global economy and 60% of the global population. This is huge. Together, we really can make a difference. So where are the greatest opportunities that we should concentrate on at this specific time and this challenging time that we are in right now?
Thanks a lot. You know what they say, never lose a good crisis. And I think that the COVID-19 crisis was an important reminder to everyone which also can be used as a turning point for all of us. What we really want to pursue are two key elements that we think are defining our future. One is digital, and the second one is transition to green economies. In Europe, we are looking into these two very broadly, and we want to partner with everyone, and in this case, in particular, with Asian partners on trying to find solutions that will really survive the test of the time. We want to build projects that will in every way benefit the communities where they are built, be it from the social, environmental, financial, economic, and other perspectives. It's not an easy task because it will require a lot of not only work and looking for sustainable financing, etc., but also in many situations a change of mentality. And sometimes you have to jump not only but 2 generations in order to make sure that of development in order to is becoming much higher and higher. Also, I think that digital in particular is a fantastic chance because everybody in the world, all kids in the world can learn this wherever they are. And also digital in a way neutralizes geography. So you can work and learn in digital technologies wherever you are. And these are the mechanisms what can really boost the growth of low and mid-income countries in major way. Of course, this needs to be done smartly. We need to make sure that all the core rights are protected. But I see an immense opportunity that I think no generation had before us.
Thank you very much. Very clear. I have now one question from to you from the chat. How do we ensure that no one is left behind in connectivity policies that often orient towards mobile and highly educated professionals? For example, research policies, innovation, digital. How can we ensure that other people are not left behind?
This is a fantastic question. I think all of us, including us working on connectivity here in Brussels, need to ponder much more on education. I think the question of education, especially, as you said, in those communities that are disadvantaged at the starting point, is something that is absolutely critical. Again, digital provides us an opportunity that no other technology did before. And by investing in education from very early age, you can stimulate the skills and even the sophistication of competitiveness of the market through those skills that you cannot match in any other way. So I would really love, and I hope there are some pieces of research, and there will be a discussion on how do we do education. I personally believe that we are still a bit too conservative, and there can be much more progressive solutions on reaching out every corner in the world. You can see nowadays kids that are 2, 3, 4 that intuitively, in a way, follow the logic of digital. It's something that everyone can learn and that can change people's lives to the better massively. I'm also thinking of the education for the girls. I'm thinking of the education for those who live in communities that are physically far away, because again, the digital technology has changed our perception of geographical distances as well. What was far away is not far away anymore. You are in Singapore, I'm in Brussels, as if we were in 2 rooms on Schumann. So I think we really need to think out of the box This is an extraordinary time, and the COVID crisis has given us, I think, few good months of introspection and trying to figure out how we can do this much better.
Thanks very much. I see some questions now coming in. There's one on security and one on circular economy relating to our Green Deal. Also, I will start with the security question. From a security perspective, how do we ensure that one partner does not gain and even utilize significant unilateral advantages over the other partners? A difficult question for you here, please.
It's a key question. It's a key question, and the question of interdependencies and what they call in theory weaponization of interdependencies is a fundamental issue that is before us. What we have learned in the European Union is that common standards help a lot. Common standards and norms make you predictable. Common standards and norms create trust. And the issue and the question of governance in this time of interdependence at this level is key. Therefore, also in the speech of the Union that we have heard the other day from our president, she's calling for the reform of multilateral organizations in a way that they really serve better the purpose. It is very important to sort of take a good look at the responsibilities that we have to each other. And this tiny virus has again taught us all that regardless what we think about distances, it just takes a very small particle, I don't know even how small it is, to connect us in a way that requires joint common response. So I think looking for common solutions is just a question of common sense. It will not be possible in this time and age for sort of unilateral moves to bring benefit to anybody, even including those who take them. Interdependence is a lot of heavy work and will require a lot of very serious decision making in years to come, especially again on digital technologies.
Thanks very much. I now come to the question on circular economy and the Green Deal. So the question is, how can the resource efficiency and circular economy partnership between EU and Asian countries steer the pillars of connectivity in the context of the EU's Green Deal strategy? A very relevant question, I find.
Absolutely, and I think this is going to be one of the main strands of our work. There is also an enormous amount of discussion within the EU, because this will require a lot of innovation and research on new technologies. It will require a lot of financial investments. It will require a lot of discipline and understanding where we want to land with these policies. And I think this is a great chance for our partners in Asia as well, because it is clear that what is happening with the climate change really requires everyone to contribute. And we want to use this turning point, if you wish, to also, in a way, use the models that we have tried and see how best they can fit the interests of our partners. I think this is an immensely important dialogue that needs to happen. It's a question that we discuss with everybody. And the other day, for example, I met the new ambassador of India to the EU, and maybe a third of our discussion was exactly on how do we do this, how do we approach it, how we discuss it, how we ensure that there are enough finances to go along with this policy and make it a reality.
Thank you very much. I think we have time for one more question before we close this opening ceremony. And I think another quite a relevant question regarding how can we foster connectivity between researchers and officials. When it comes to cultural and intercultural policy, for example. Are there any good practices and examples from the EU and Asia? There's a feeling that maybe there's not enough connections between scientists, researchers, and the policy level.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for this question. I'm also very happy that it's sort of a summarizing question in the end. Very important. I can tell you that we in our small team are looking into this, and we will try to come with programs that can help foster some kind of virtual hubs of experts on connectivity, and also move towards 1.5 track, so that we put the policy decision-making people and researchers together in the same space, so that we can learn from each other. Personally, I feel that much more input from the research community is needed. We really need to understand how to map this better. We need to understand the numbers, the correlations, the consequences. We need to see how to plan for the future. Planning today and planning 100 years ago are a completely different thing, because the changes today are much better. Sometimes you can't even imagine what is going to happen. I read the other day that they're working on a technology of the interface between computer and our brain. So what does it mean? What does it bring? What will come out? I think we need massive support for innovation and research, because this is absolutely the best way to help us and to help all those who have to decide on policies decisions. We are certainly thinking about this. I'm super grateful for the conference, looking forward to see what are the outcomes of the discussions and the papers. Also reaching out to colleagues all across the world. This is not something that anyone can think of on their own. Maybe we should think of creating also some space, joint space for exchange. But I hope that some good ideas will come out of this. There is a lot of writing around. I'm trying to catch up with some of it. But I think the contribution that innovation and research can give is just not comparable to it.
Thank you very much. This was Ambassador Vlahutin sharing with us her insights into what means connectivity in the various aspects. And thank you so much for your insightful keynote address as well. It really feels like you're next door, but I wish you all the best from Asia to Europe.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
I hope next time it will be in real, hopefully in Singapore or somewhere in Asia. Take care. Bye-bye.
I hope so too. So we come to the end now of our opening ceremony of the AESCON conference. As we have already learned from the excellent insightful presentation so far, connectivity can really help global recovery strategies and will help rebuild economies in a more sustainable, inclusive, and resilient manner. Your timely exchanges will now contribute to solutions that we need to collectively get back on our feet. I wish you the successful conference and really look forward to many insightful discussions for the next few days. I now invite you to take a quick break and come back here at 10:40 Central European Summertime for the first panel of these speakers, which will be moderated by us. Thank you all very much for joining this open ceremony on Asia-Europe Sustainable Connectivity. And goodbye.